Wezo TV. Now, I'd want to ask the Minister, given the scale of current disruptions, what is uninterrupted power in our community?
I believe someone...
Uninterrupted power in our community.
I believe someone asked that question, but it's good that you've emphasized.
Because yesterday I had light out twice.
All right. We apologize profusely for that, but the Minister would answer your question, yeah. So, you have the last word.
Thank you. Minister, I indulge your waiver to do something upstream because it's all related. We noticed that on the back of the energy transitions and what have you, investments in that sector seem to have suffered or gotten some dwindle. Government said it's going to make the place quite exciting.
Which sector are you referring to?
That is the upstream oil and gas sector, where government was supposed to give better fiscal regime to encourage more investments. This will translate into more power and what have you, given that we have our second Atuabo plant supposed to be in the offing. What is the update on that, and have we gotten any interest beyond the fact that Lukoil and the rest were all interested in coming back? Can you update us on that? Thank you very much.
Because of your organization, I would permit that question.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Okay. I think the first one was on the debt situation. Like we said, we inherited a debt of about 80 billion cedis. And we've been addressing the debt situation, paying off legacy debt, and also working very hard to pay the IPPs a chunk of what is due them. When we assumed office, the IPPs were paid about 40%. We've taken it to as much as around 90%. In some instances, some even receive 100%. And so there's been remarkable improvement when it comes to the debt. Then cushioning. I have no problem if government cushions people, but we should avoid what happened in the past. And the ECG MD is here. During COVID, you were told that you'll be given free electricity. This government came and we are paying for that so-called free electricity. And so my advice has always been that it's good to provide the people with subsidy, it's good to cushion them, but let's budget for that and make the funds available for that subsidy. Nuclear, we are on that. And we are working very hard. Insurance, I want the investigation to address all the issues of insurance and related matters. And so I do not want to prejudice the issue of insurance. Whether doom CSCA, doom or doom cra or doom so, the first thing is, let's be honest. Look, once in a while we can have challenges, like we are just witnessing. Unpredictable. Nobody foresaw it. Nobody could tell the magnitude of it. And when you have such a situation, don't try to play tricks with the people. We have a deficit. And we've admitted that because of the fire incident, we have a deficit. I've directed ECG provide periodic updates on regional basis, areas that will be affected every 12 hours, because it's a very short duration. Like I said, we are looking at this week. So you can't do a weekly schedule. And even what you provide a day, it keeps changing, because just this afternoon we've had another plant come on. We are looking at another unit coming on. So we provide that periodic update. People are not happy. That's a fact. But I know that people are discerning. People are very discerning. Ghanaians have the wisdom. And they know that we have a legitimate, genuine challenge that is not of our making. And they know that we are putting efforts to address that. That is a better approach than telling the people that you are engaging in doom CSA. Volta region, we have a peculiar problem that we inherited. We operate 161 kV lines, 275 kVA lines, and 330. That section that you are talking about, they do not have any of these lines. And you can verify from the engineers. And so the voltages will be unstable since independence. But we are not just complaining. We are finding solutions. We've worked with Gridco. The immediate thing we are going to do is to construct a 16 line from Asiepe to Ho with improved transformers, so that we take Ho off the old line and give them a dedicated line. Ho is a big consuming area. So when you take them off and you give them that dedicated line, the remaining smaller towns or communities would see a boost in the voltages. Then we go ahead with the long-term measure to address the challenge. And next week we intend to go to Ho to engage or commence that exercise. So the people of Volta region, yes, I know that you've been suffering low voltages, including Otidamanko, Bimbila, all the way. And that's the spine we are talking about, and we are determined to deal with that. Inspection of the dams is a routine exercise. They keep inspecting the dam. Even with this challenge, they've quickly taken advantage of it and sent divers to inspect the dam. So the integrity of the dam will continue to inspect it. That is why we couldn't foresee this explosion and inferno. But I'm sure that the investigation will deal with that. And you are normally Kumasi. Oh, I said the containers. Let me deal with that. I said I'll deal with that. I saw containers. Yeah, Kumasi has a peculiar issue. The network is very bad. And you can talk to every engineer. In fact, this work that I'm saying Advances is going to do should have ended in 2023. That is when they should have completed that. But it's dragged on. We have to do some investigation. We have a roadmap. And so we have the green light now with ECG to do that loop. It will bolster the transmission system. Then the primary distribution point. The one we did at Lashibi, for instance, I was told it's about 32 or so years old. I mean, a 32-year-old plant or generator, 23 years. A 23-year-old, I think one of them too was 32. So a plant that is stayed for 20-something years, and with increased consumption and increased demand, it will surely put pressure on it. That's why I said that if you take the rich area in Kumasi, we are completely changing the transformer at the primary distribution station and putting a bigger one to bolster the voltages. We are also going to work with Gridco. They are supposed to close a certain loop, which will also bolster the system. Why maybe some people couldn't do it is that it will involve some minimum outages. But it has to be done. Yes, sometimes when you do these things, it creates some inconvenience. But the cost of postponing it is what we are witnessing today. So when we have to take a decision and improve the system, even if it will cause some temporal unease or some discomfort, we have to do that. It's a necessity. And so after the World Cup, we will do that exercise. We will go to Kumasi and explain to them. And I'm sure that they would appreciate and understand what we are doing. So we place priority on Kumasi. It will never be the case that President Mahama will neglect any part of the country. Because when we do that, we boost economic activity and it helps all of us. ECG containers, yes. When I assumed office, and you can check from the records, I set up a committee to account for the containers. The committee came back to me and said they couldn't account for a certain number of containers. And CTFM, you are here. You can just check your own records. John Jinapor, we will recover ECG missing containers or funds. So my priority first is to recover every single container at the port. In fact, that is what every minister should be doing. In addition to that, I've written to the Attorney General to look into possible criminality and let the law take its course. That's what the wise minister will do. We've recovered 1,569 containers so far. They were stuck there. And yet, ECG was buying the same containers and they were getting stuck there. So my vision to recover the containers remained unchanged. After we've recovered all the containers, we'll reconcile the figures with their manifest and with all their procurement. And if there are still challenges, we'll make that available. So we are really on course and we are doing what is needed, what is needful, and we are focused on that. Thank you very much.
There was a question on development in the upstream petroleum sector.
What was that? Yes, in the upstream sector. Oh, yes. In the upstream sector, we've increased gas production from Nigeria. We've increased gas from ENI. They're doing around 210. Today they are doing 280. 280. Nigeria, they were doing about 70. They're doing about 100. Jubilee, they've gone to about 130. I mean, that's significant. In less than a year to achieve that feat on a three-pronged approach would only mean that you are really putting in place the measures. Like I said, this temporary situation, we are determined to deal with that. And we are going ahead to even increase more gas. We just signed a framework agreement with the Jubilee partners, 2 billion investment. We signed another framework agreement with ENI, 1.5 billion investment. For the first time in 6 years, the continuous decline of our oil production this year will halt it and turn it around. With Look Oil, I have good news for you. Next week I'll brief you. Something positive is happening. Very positive. We're making a significant headway, and we are determined to address that challenge. We are making the sector attractive. All the big majors are coming in. Shell is showing interest, Chevron is showing interest, Petroleum Commission is leading us in that agenda and working with diligence, with transparency, and there's certainty now in the sector. So we are on course. In the downstream sector, in countries like France, in London, and other countries, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, they don't even have the fuel. There are shortages there. Some countries do not even have the fuel. We've never suffered any supply disruption. We are rather providing subsidy. So we are on course, and sometimes we get these challenges. But I know that we overcome this challenge. Thank you. Okay. And you know, me for with the Madam Osibebre, and your friends and children for Ghana for you na atorenchem kesiye a 2 year ananu yi ewo akosomo anyinamankane no a eja ehyehe ye control center a enu ntino ama anyinamankane no ahokyere kakra abetomu na ye fremo se ye mamo emu enchechiremu ne ekoso nyame ncha de engineers omo ye adwuma ne menemo kasa de emfidie ne eyensia mienu omatimi ede aba no eye adwuma omugusu a ne etoso miensa no omde no so ba nti nyame ya adoma enche na otwe mu ye beso ano na enkanea no esagina na kumasefo ye de adesronko eba ho eye monyina monkanea na ehamo no ye beso ano ye bekora na egina yie na moso monya enkanea ebeboa mo ye de transformers afoforo eba cables afoforo new power generation any enfidinyuma bebre eba ho a ebeboa enye kumase nko a eye Ashanti region ene Ghana afana nyina na yenimse ni aba no atorenchem kese na yenyina yenim kura se bibise besi nanso atoyen a efi ye yire ye ho na ye so ano na ye dijuma no nti mu a monkanea na edundum no enye boa payo yenimse mo penkanea no enkanea no so enche bia ebegina Madam Osibebre. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Shall we have some order, please? So this is truly a special session of the Government Accountability Series. The peculiarity of the situation requires that we alter the format a bit. Otherwise, usually we hold it strictly in the official language of Ghana, which is English. But we've had to make this special dispensation because of the urgency of the situation. And there are segments of Ghanaian society whose medium of communication is Twi. And that is why we have had to do this. But in a nutshell, the minister has conveyed government's deep concern about the situation and stringent efforts at resolving it as quickly as possible. And we do hope that normalcy is restored quickly so that we can all get back to our lives. On that note, I thank you very much for attending upon us. And we hope to see you sometime next week for another edition. Thank you all for coming.